Hey there, Vault boys and girls. I heard someone wants to learn about mutations. Mutations might be easy to learn, but they're sure difficult to master. So let's learn about them. Let's go. So as a request from one of my viewers, today we're going to actually take a look at mutations and how to stack them, how to get rid of them, and how to use them to your advantage. So to start off this tutorial, we're going to actually take a look real quick into how you can get them naturally just by getting radiation damage. So how we're going to do this is we're going to actually find some rads for us real quick. We're going to come on down into this toxic water and we're going to stand here until we get enough rads to get our first mutation. Now mind you, mutations do not happen right away. Sometimes a few rads will give you a mutation, sometimes 100 rads won't give you a mutation. It just solely depends on the RNG of the system and when the game decides to actually apply one to you. So now you'll see up in the top corner there we got a notification that says that radiation has given you a mutation. Let's go ahead and take a look at our stat screen real quick. We actually got the Talons mutation, which is going to lower our agility, but it's going to up our unarmed damage. Now, if you're out in the wild and you get a mutation from standing in rads and you don't like the mutation, you can actually get rid of it pretty easily by coming into your inventory and using radaways until it goes away. You'll see here with one single radaway, our Talons mutation is officially gone, and we can move on to the next part of the tutorial. Now in this next part we're going to be taking a look at serums and how they work. And I would like to thank one of our supporters here who actually donated each of the serums. I'm going to put your name down at the bottom real quick. And as soon as I take this serum right here, you'll see that it says up in the top corner, a serum has given you a mutation. The mutation that we got is the herd mentality mutation. It gives you 2 special when grouped with other players. With serum mutations, just like regular mutations, you can actually get rid of it by using radaway. But the difference is here, with serums you can actually control which mutations you get. Whereas if you get them naturally, the game gives them to you completely random. Another cool thing that you can actually do with mutations is you can stack them to get the effects from multiple of them. But the problem is, when you stack them, you will get the negative effects from each one of them as well. So definitely be careful which ones you stack. Plan ahead. If you skip towards the end of this video, we will actually be giving a list and detailed explanation of each of the different mutations in the game so that you can actually take a look and kind of plan out your character build real quick with them. Some mutations are good for melee characters, some mutations are good for gun characters. It solely depends on the build you're wanting to go with, but you're not going to want to go with every single mutation in the game. You're just going to have so many downsides and they're just going to start counteracting each other. You want to plan ahead and see which ones you want to get. So like with before, we can take radaway to get rid of our mutations and completely clear the board. Now something I don't show here though is if you take Rad-X, it will suppress the effects of your mutations. So make sure if you're going to take Rad-X, preferably only use the diluted Rad-X if possible. Now we're going to jump over to another character I have right now that actually uses mutations in his character build. And let's take a look at what he's got going on real quick. When we open up the stat menu with this character, you'll see all the different mutations I have on him. Currently I have Adrenal Reaction, Electrically Charged, Grounded, Healing Factor, Marsupial, Scaly Skin, Twisted Muscles, and Unstable Isotope. But you may notice that my radiation levels actually are pretty low. I use radaways as much as I possibly can to keep my rads down. So you may be asking, how can I take radaway and still keep my mutations? Well, if we come into our perks here, there's actually 2 different perks inside of the luck category that we're going to be taking a look at here. The first one is starched jeans. With the second rank of starched jeans, you will never mutate from rads and you will never cure your mutations with the radaway. What this means is that you can't get natural mutations, you have to get them through serums. However, using radaway will never cure your mutation. However, with multiple mutations, there's going to be a lot of downsides. As you saw, some of them had a lot of really bad downsides to them, so what we want to do is we want to actually mitigate all those negative effects. We can actually do that with the second perk. The second perk is called Class Freak. Class Freak has 3 ranks, and on the 3rd rank, the negative effects of your mutations are reduced by 75%. But you get to keep all of the positive effects at 100%. These 2 perks alone, combined together, can create crazy builds. Crazy character builds. But you have to know which mutations you want to use ahead of time. So let's go ahead and take a look at the list of mutations. Now there's a lot of mutations in this game, so I'm going to actually try to go through them rather quickly. Our first one on the list is actually going to be Chameleon. Chameleon gives you invisibility when you're not wearing armor and you are standing still. So what this does is, as long as you're not wearing any armor pieces or you're wearing specific armor pieces for the Chameleon perk, while you are standing still you will appear invisible. Second one is Bird Bones. It's going to give you +4 agility. Your falling speed is going to be slowed, but you're going to have a negative side effect of having -4 strength stat. This one's good for agility builds, but with a -4, it's kind of a hard one to justify. The falling speed slowing down is pretty cool to use, but it's gimmicky at best. The third one is Eagle Eyes. It's going to give you +4 perception, +25% critical hit damage, and -4 strength. This one is really great for a gun build, especially if you're going for a sniper with crit hit damage. But again, you're going to be taking -4 strength, and that's kind of hard to justify in certain builds, so only use it on certain kind of sniper characters. Next up we have Egghead, which is going to give you +6 intelligence, -3 strength, and -3 endurance. This is another one that's really hard to justify. You're going to be getting a lot of extra intelligence, but you're going to be lowering your strength and your endurance. You're going to be hitting less on melee, and you're going to be taking a lot more damage with that endurance down. Intelligence is really only good for building in this game and sometimes for leveling, so it's an okay one. Next up after that we have Electrically Charged, and with this one you have a chance to shock melee attackers. What this means is whenever somebody hits you with melee, there's a small chance that they will actually explode into electricity. It's going to damage them, however it will damage you as well. This one's good for tank builds or for melee builds that have a lot of health, because you're going to be doing a lot of extra damage to these enemies, but you're also going to be taking it yourself, so you need to have a high endurance stat. After that we have Empath, which is going to give you -25% damage to your entire team, but you yourself are going to be taking 33% more damage. This is a really good one if you're trying to do a support role for your team, if you want to boost your team. But as a solo player, it's really hard to take this one because you're going to be taking so much extra damage that it's almost not even worth it. Next up we come to my favorite one, Grounded, which is going to give you 100 extra energy resistance, but you're going to be doing -50% energy damage yourself. The good thing about this one is energy weapons currently in the game are not that great. So, you're not going to be doing a lot of energy damage anyways. But on the flip side, you're going to be getting a lot of extra energy resistance for your character, so it's going to make you more tanky against things like robots. After that we have Healing Factor, which is going to give you +300% health regen at the cost of -55% chem effects. What this means is your stim packs and your radaways are not going to be doing as much, but your health regeneration is going to be through the roof. So, the best part about this one is if you want to deal some damage, hide behind a tree, wait for your health to come back, jump back out, and keep going, hit and run tactics are really good with Healing Factor. Next up we have the combo of Herbivore and Carnivore. Herbivore gives you 2 times benefits to vegetables, but you cannot eat meat. On the opposite side, carnivore is going to give you 2 times benefits for meat, but you can't eat vegetables. These ones are pretty self-explanatory. If you're going to be a hunter, take carnivore. It's going to give you a lot more food. If you're not and you're more of a forager, go ahead and take herbivore. However you want to play it. Next up we have a community favorite, which is marsupial. It's going to give you 20 extra carry weight. Your jump height's going to significantly increase, and you're going to have -4 intelligence. Personally with this one, I only use it on characters that are not running an intelligence build because of the fact that you're going to get that extra carry weight, you're going to get that extra jump height, but -4 intelligence is a pretty big hit. Then we have scaly skin. It's going to give you +50 damage and energy resistance, so you're going to get more defense, at the cost of -50 AP. You can run this on a lot of builds, it's going to make you pretty tanky, but do not run it on a VATS build. You need that AP for VATS. After that we have Speed Demon. You're going to be moving significantly faster and you're going to have a faster reload, but you're also going to become more hungry and your thirst factor is going to raise significantly faster. Plus 50% drain on hunger and thirst with this mutation. After that we have one that we saw earlier in the video, the Talons mutation, which is going to give you +25 damage when using unarmed attacks, and it's going to add bleed damage to it, but at the cost of 4 agility. This means you're going to be using a lot less VATS and you're not going to be sprinting around as much unless you take the proper perks for it. Then we have Twisted Muscles, which is going to be +25% melee damage, higher chance to cripple limbs, and -50% gun accuracy. If you're a melee character, there is no reason not to take this. I mean, you're going to be lowering your gun accuracy, but you're not using guns. So, take it. After that one we have Herd Mentality, which is going to give you +2 to all special stats when in a group, but -2 if you're on your own. That one's pretty self-explanatory. Then we have Unstable Isotope, which is going to give you a chance to irradiate melee attackers, and it's pretty much the same thing as electrically charged but with radiation instead of electricity. However, by taking this one you will lose 4 agility as a result, so play it smart. Last one on the list is going to be Plague Walker, which is going to give you a poison aura that scales with your diseases. What this means is the more diseases you have, the more poison you're going to be releasing from your body and killing enemies.